Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our seminar series. We have two presentations for the PhD proposal seminar, and one of the presenters for today is Moran Chen. Moran Chen is a PhD candidate at the University of Western Australia here at the School of Agriculture and Environment, Department of Agriculture and Resource Economics.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending my presentation today. I'm very glad to be here to share my research proposal presentation. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please let me know because it could help me to improve my research. Well, let's get started. My title of my research proposal is the impact of live streaming on demand for eco-labeled food products in China. What you might want to ask me, what's live streaming? Well, the live streaming is part of e-commerce, but it's different with the traditional e-commerce. Because on traditional e-commerce, the users, they select the product and order that through the online searching, and they just get the information mainly from the picture or text. But the live streaming is different. Well, I give you an example of live streaming. It's a screenshot of live streaming channel from a Chinese live streaming channel. Well, you might know that it will be hard for you to read the content. So I'm very kindly to provide the English version to you. I really want to share the Chinese version because I'm quite familiar with that. I usually showing on the Chinese live streaming channel, but the main information is similar. So we could say that in the live stream channel, the streamer will introduce the product information to the consumer. And on the top of the live streaming, you could say more details about this live streaming channel, including the name of streamer, how many fans, and how many people are watching at this time. And for this part, the community discussion session, which is a very important part, because the consumers, they can type the comments, the questions, the requirements to the streamer directly, and also they can interact with other consumers at the same time. Well, it's a little different with Chinese version, because in Chinese version, here is a heading message, and you could say someone is purchasing at this time. So you can observe others' purchase behavior at the live streaming. Well, because we said the live streaming is part of e-commerce, so we should have a look at the development of e-commerce in China. And the orange one is the share of retail e-commerce sales, and the blue one is the retail e-commerce sales of other countries. And we could see that in 2021, the share of retail e-commerce sales of China exceeds the share of other countries. So China has a very big potential market for us to analyze the e-commerce channel, shopping channel, and more specifically, looking at the live streaming trade in China. The orange one is the orange bar is the Chinese per capita consumption in live streaming, and we could see that it increased from 2018 to 2022. And also the proportion that the Chinese per capita consumption in live streaming accounts for the Chinese total per capita consumption expenditure increased as well. And also the black line is the number of users in live streaming also increased during the same time, which means the live streaming is becoming a more and more popular shopping channel in China. We talked about a lot of live streaming. What's about the difference with other shopping channels? Well, as for the offline, the consumers could go to the physical store, so they can touch or they can try on the items. They can talk with someone when they need help. For the traditional e-commerce, we talked their way to shopping online, but it's different with the live streaming. Remember that the consumers could save the traveling cost and the time to the stores, and also they can get the information from the website, such as the product attributes, the comments from other consumers, and also they can easily to compare the product on different attributes. For the live stream channel, it could combine some advantages from both offline and traditional e-commerce shopping channel. because it's a real-time communication. You can communicate with streamer and other consumers directly, so you can get an instant acquisition of product information. As we said that in the heading message, you can observe others' consumers' purchase behavior. Well, why we want to look at the eco-labeled product? Because the streamer in the live streaming, they play a very important role in the live streaming shopping channel. They can deliver the information to the consumer directly. So the way that they deliver they explain the eco-label claims to the consumer is very important, because it could affect their purchase behavior or, in fact, their purchase preference for the eco-labeled product. And they could use their own sales strategy. They could use linguistic expression to deliver the information. Like they could repeat the eco-labeled claims many times to emphasize the importance of eco-labeled product. Also, they can explain more about the details of eco-labeled. And also they can use different type of eco-labels to say that our eco-labeled product is environmental friendly, is healthy, to affect the consumer's preference, to affect their purchase behavior for the eco-labeled product. So we want to focus on eco-labeled product. More specifically, we want to focus on the eco-labeled food product in China. Because in China, the eco certification for food has developed for many years, and there are 3 different eco-label food products in China: the organic, green, hazard food labels in China, and all the 3 different labels have their own standard. And for the organic food label, it starts at first, and the standard of the production process is the most strict for it. Because for the organic food label, you are not allowed to use any synthetic fertilizer and pesticide. But for the rest of 2 labels, you can use limited fertilizer and pesticide, but the degree is different. So the objectives for our research proposal is to identify the consumer's choice of different shopping channels and estimate the impact of factors on expenditure or consumption by different shopping channels and by different products. And we also want to evaluate the price premiums of food eco-labels on different shopping channels to estimate motivations and determinants of consumers' preference for eco-labeled food product when they choose different shopping channels. That's our objectives. And let's get started with first one, consumers' choice of shopping channels. Because we talked about on all of the shopping channels, we want to know who chooses different channels for different products. For example, when you buy milk, which channel you would like to choose? I think some of the consumers, they might choose the physical one. They want to see the real milk in the store. But for other products, like when we buy clothes, for example, for me, I would choose all of the 3 channels to buy clothes. So the question is, for different products, what channel they would like to choose? Well, to address this question, we want to focus on their shopping motivation and the determinants in different shopping channels. Current research focuses on the different shopping motivation in different shopping channels. They divided into 2 different motivations. One of utilitarian motivation, which is related to convenience, cost saving, information availability, and selection, etc. And the hedonic motivation, which is derived from the entertainment and the social experience, etc. Like you might want to buy something. You want to go with your friends to do some social events. The main goal for you is not purchase, is that for your fun. Well, for the determinants, we would focus on the consumer characteristics, the product characteristics, and the plan for strategy and design to address their determinants. Based on first the one question, we just focus on their choice, but we want to think about more. How much money they would spend on different purchase behavior, on different purchase shopping channels. When I buy clothes, how much money I would spend on the offline, on the traditional e-commerce and the live streaming in the different shopping channels. That's our second question. We want to know how the consumer's expenditure or consumption will be different in different shopping channels. Well, we might use some same motivation or determinants from previous slides to address some of these questions, because our stage is in the proposal stage. So it will depend on what kind of data we will collect in the future to address this question. For the previous two questions, we have an overview of the different channels for a general product. Now we want to focus on more about the food eco-labels. We talked that in live streaming, they have their own strategy to deliver, to explain the eco-label claims to the consumers. But in different shopping channels, they all have their own way to explain the claims to the consumer. So we want to know, is there any difference in price premium for the food eco-labels in different shopping channels? So first step, we will identify the number or the type of claims in different shopping channels for the eco-labeled food product. And then based on this, we want to evaluate the difference in price premium for eco-labels in the traditional e-commerce and the live streaming shopping channels. Well, last one, we want to use the stated preference approach to explore more about the consumer's preference for the eco-labeled food product. Because previously we used some the observed behavior, the data to address their choice, to address their consumption. But now we want to focus on more. We want to explore more about how the different attributes changed will affect or to elicit the preference for the eco-labeled food product associated with the shopping channels. Well, we will use the DCE stated preference method to focus on the attributes of product and the shopping channels, the type of claims, and also the customer characteristics to analyze this question to explore more about the preference.
So can you just clarify type of claims? What do you mean by type of claims?
Type of claims is when we talk about the eco labels, they will say that my label is healthy, is sustainable, is environment friendly. Like they will use these different type of claims, yes, to address their our product is eco labeled. Why is this good?
Thank you.
Thank you. So for our data and method, for question 1, 2, 4, not 3. We will use the primary data. We will design a survey to collect the data, including to ask the consumers their choice of different shopping channels and social demographic data and other information as well. For question 1, because we want to focus on their choice, so we will use the multinomial logistic regression to address their choice. For the second 2, we want to focus on their consumption, their expenditure. So we will use the Hickman mode to address how their expenditure consumption will differ in different shopping channels. For the fourth question, we will use DCE to explore more about their preference for eco-labeled product. We talked it before. For the third question, we will use the website data. We would like to use color technology to collect the eco-labeled food data, including the price and other attributes. And to analyze their price premium, we will use the hedonic model to analyze this question. The significance of our research is to understand a major emerging change in consumer shopping behavior. We will more specifically provide a direct comparison of consumers' behavior in different shopping channels by product and understand the motivation and determinants of consumer choosing different shopping channels, and to provide knowledge on price premium associated with food eco-labels on different shopping channels. Finally, it's my timeline. I hope I can write 4 papers to address my 4 questions. And finally, to finish my PhD thesis. Well, that's all my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Moran. I just had some questions, like suggestions if you've thought about it. The first thing, between the traditional and live streaming, to the extent that people might use both,
Yes.
is there any way of identifying the order in which they do it. That's the first question, that would go first to one and then to the other, and it's whether that's specific for certain types of products. That's the first question. It's also a question for you. Second one, when you say a type of claims, that's why I asked the answer. You also have the credibility of those claims, which might be important, and that links to certification schemes.
Yeah.
And if you refer to the ISO 14000 international certification information, there are 3 types of claims. There's officially, and so you might want to keep track of that. And the third question was about the role of uncertainty, which might be linked to, linked to hesitation or ambiguity in the purchasing of things. So, I mean, that's a lot of links to background of utility theory and preference theory. Do those preferences actually pre-exist, or are they forms? Are they general in interaction with what is on offer and what others are saying? So this is, I mean, it's a big issue back there.
Yes.
It's just those 3 points I wanted to highlight, if you've thought about it or not.
Okay. Well, for the first one question, I think we would ask, firstly, we would ask the product. We will classify the product at first, and then ask you for this product, which channel you would like to choose. You might choose one channel, or some consumers, they might choose 2 channels. So we will use the, to ask them a question from different steps to confirm the final choice for the consumers. So we'll use the multinomial logistic regression to address their choice. And for the second 2, I will keep trace for that. I will, yes, that's a very important question for our research, because we need to identify the different claims. So that's a very good suggestion. And for the 3, yes, I've read a lot of articles. They just roughly divide it into utilitarian and hedonic motivation. But we could like to use different question to elicit the different grade, to elicit the different extent for their utilitarian or their hedonic motivation. But yes, that's a very big question. We would focus on more. Maybe we would like just choose one more specific aspect to analyze these. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for that presentation. I just want a clarification, because you're talking about the shopping channels, and I wasn't sure, are you really focusing on shopping information channels or shopping channels? Because I'm thinking in the context of live streaming.
Yes.
So if you say live streaming and people are shopping live streaming,
yeah,
I'm trying to think of what is that? Somebody is live streaming and then people are buying. How do they buy that? How do they do the shopping? Do they still go back and do online? Because then it means that it's being streamed live,
yeah,
but then the shopping is still being done online.
Yeah, it will be shopping online, because they will provide the link in the live streaming channel.
Okay.
So for each link, they will show this is the product, and you can ask the streamer to display the different product, to try the different product. So you will shopping on the shopping chat on the live streaming channel, but they have their own link to order that.
So is that not still online, because it's just a link that is just
yeah,
online?
But I said that's the difference, because you said online, I said the users, they order they finish the product selection through the keyword searching online, but that's the traditional e-commerce.
Okay.
But yes, you couldn't see someone is live streaming is live, right? In the traditional e-commerce, you only get the information from the text and the picture they post on the website.
And that begs my question then.
Yeah.
Are you talking about shopping information channels, or are you talking about real shopping?
What? Yeah.
So I'm also in this space, that there is a there's a dedicated shopping channel to sell me an air fryer.
Yeah.
I go into channel 17, and it's so there's channel 17 on the TV. There's a guy that gives me a demonstration of an air fryer and how good the air fryer is, and I can call this number versus this is some web sort of online thing, and it's not necessarily linked. So I do think that there's this grey area to try and clarify around traditional on. It's not what you described to me is what I can go on channel 17 today and see someone demonstrate a vacuum cleaner, air fryer, something. What are the other things? Everyone knows, right? There's a set of steak knives, right? Whatever, it's something very similar, and just clarifying. It's just a point of clarification. It's not a criticism. Okay. It's not anything like that. It's just like getting us clear between this evolution from online TV to what you now describe as something that we are maybe older and we don't quite understand what these new marketing channels are. But the people that are going to review this are going to be the old people like us that don't quite understand exactly what the new influencer is.
One more, just maybe when you say live streaming, you're assuming that you're using your phone or your tablet. If that's something you can clarify, that would be very useful.
Yeah.
You can do your show.
What it is, but is it live or is it a YouTube video?
Yeah.
Is that
okay? So the question
what's the guy that does reviews that have many millions, like Uncle
live.
Roger?
It's live.
It's live.
But does live mean interactive? That means I can actually, it goes both ways, whereas the traditional one is just passive. So I can get information.
Okay, so Uncle Roger has 8 million views in 3 days. Isn't that, there's not going to be 8 million live views.
Yeah.
So we can't work on.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my point, Michael. The person is there is live, okay? Let's say it's YouTube or whatever, Zoom, and then he's selling this product, and I decide, okay, now I'm going to purchase that product. When I make that decision, when I purchase, am I going to be using an online platform or what? Because by default, it still goes back to online.
Well, I think it's got this extra layer. I think what they're providing is this extra layer which is sitting on top of the normal Amazon thing, whatever.
Okay.
Because ultimately they're clicking a button, you're going to an online site and somebody ships it out to you. But there is something extra going on top of that, because these people are genuinely committing their days, not recording a whatever and then just recirculating it every day. They're committing to actually sitting there and talking and doing this live in front of you, answering questions that get sent in. So something is happening there that's they think it's worth their while. And I think you slipped something in when you talked about their fans. You didn't talk about their consumers at one stage. You said this is where their fans are, and there's something happening as they're building a personal relationship that I think isn't persistent. Anyway, Natasha, I'm looking at the time. Yeah. Natasha was had a asking questions on stage, and then I think we should move on to the next.
I think, just full disclosure, so I'm Moran, independent panel member, and I can ask you questions later. I think there was another question here, or the one question I did just want to raise. Look, I'm not an economist either, so other full disclosure. Thank you for a really interesting talk. Really well presented, super interesting research, and I think I'm definitely in the old fuddy-duddies thing of like live streaming. Anyway, so your research, you've got the notion of trying to define different types of live streaming, e-commerce and so on, and that seems to be one part of it. And in the second part of it, you're looking at eco-labelling. And I just wondered why eco-labelling, what's really relevant about eco-labelling and live streaming, and what kinds of products do you think people would be interested in buying that are eco-labelled through live streaming? I mean, food is different because it's something that you want to touch and feel and smell. So what is about eco-labelling and live streaming that you think will be really interesting and novel?
Well, because we talked about the new shopping channel, right? The attributes of the design of the new shopping channels, they will deliver the information from the streamer to the consumers. By the eco-labeled, the claims, the information in Chinese consumers, they want to know more about this. But if we just go to the store, we only see the information on the packaging or something from the picture or like that. So you don't have the real people to introduce the product. So for the eco-label, they can introduce more about the information of eco-labels, and they will like to increase their purchase intention, or they will broaden their information about the eco-label, which is very important for our product work.
So this is potentially a new and innovative channel for eco-labelled, eco-certified food to increase its distribution through live streaming.
Yeah. Thank you.